Both. Hold on, you guys. What's popping, everybody? Welcome back to the bar. Um, I got a little bit of a juicy little real life topic that is going on now, and it has to do with a federal jewelry heist suspect who was deported back before his trial. He was not convicted, he was not sentenced, and he was out on bond, waiting to face a federal jury. And then I stepped in. And when they stepped in, they removed him from the country. And prosecutors say they did not know it was going to happen, which means this entire federal case may now be in jeopardy because without a defendant, there is no trial. Child, the bar is open. So let's go ahead and pour it up.
Big poppin', money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what the topic.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your favorite guys and Doc Tender, that girl Henny, and I'm here to pour up your hot shot of some court docs right now. So if you are new here, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Click that notification bell, select all so that you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you are a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, now we're going to pour up on these court docs, baby. Yes, because, child, now ICE is supposed to be out here protecting and serving, right? And they're supposed to be out here arresting all of these criminals. But it seems like, and it looks like, ICE may have blundered and dropped the ball when it came down to a recent criminal that they were supposed to be, or alleged criminal, I could say, because we don't know what he did. We weren't there. This is what they are alleging. They allegedly allowed a jewelry heister, is that a word, to go free. Child, y'all know I got the hot Henny for y'all. So let's go ahead and let's go pour this thing all the way up the way it's supposed to be poured up because it's up in its stock. All right, let's get the screen how I like the screen, and we gonna get into. Is this it? That's not it. We'll use this one for right now. Let me get this to y'all because, baby, this made the news, okay? And because it made the news, it put eyes on it. So let's hear what happened when this happened.
Shocking development in connection with a major jewelry heist. One of the suspects just avoided trial. ABC's Hannah Battah explains why.
It's been described as the largest jewelry theft in U.S. history. But now one of the alleged thieves won't be facing trial. That's because he was suddenly deported by U.S. immigration agents. Prosecutors and even his own lawyer say they had no heads up. The thieves back in 2022 tracked a Brinks truck for 300 miles from a jewelry trade show near San Francisco to a highway rest stop. While one guard slept and another was inside the rest stop, the thieves pounced, making off with 24 bags of diamonds, gold, gems, and watches worth more than $100 million.
We got a lock on here. You have a lock on here, yeah? And it's gone.
Video captured the moment the guards realized the bags were nowhere in sight.
I counted 49. 49? Out of how many? 73. That's a lot.
They had 73. Wait a minute. He said there was 49, there was 73, and they ended up with a back up.
Out of how many? 73.
49 bags of diamonds left out of 73 bags.
Yeah.
The jewels are still missing, but investigators eventually charged 7 suspects. Now, the Los Angeles Times reports one of the 7, identified as Jason Nalon Pracia Flores, who is facing up to 15 years in prison, has been deported to Ecuador, reportedly blindsiding prosecutors. The victims, including many mom-and-pop jewelers who lost their life savings in the heist, are furious. Their lawyer saying, "For our clients who lost their life's work, this outcome exposes a gap in the system that deserves transparency," saying the owners of all that jewelry still missing are now left without answers and without a verdict. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Baby, Y'all heard correctly. This man, these people, child, they done. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. These people done got away with all of this jewelry. Now you know that I am not going to come up here and just play a little video for y'all. And you know that I am not going to give you just a half-ass story. Oh, no, 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 no. We got the court docs, baby. And I'm finna explain all of this and break all of this down for y'all so that it is broken and it is up and it is stuck. So y'all know what time it is right now. It has been a minute. I'm a little rusty. You know, your girl is a little rusty or whatever. But let me go on ahead and let me pull up these court docs the way that we like to pull up these court docs so that we can start pouring up on all of this foolery right here. Because, baby, while they are out here saying that we are here to arrest all of the illegal immigrants that are here, that are criminals, how did this even happen? I know that is what we all want to know. And boom, baby, boom. I got it for you. So now let me get my watermark up here the way that I like to get my watermark up here, and let's break this thing down. Boom. New watermark, y'all. Okay, so this is the case of the United States versus Carlos Victor Mastanza Cercado, I believe. Giselle Palado Resto, aka Ricardo Noel Moya, aka Ricardo Barbosa, aka Alberto Javier Losa Chamaro, Pablo Raul Logo Lagario, I think that's how you say that, aka Walter Loza, Victor Hugo Valenciana Salozano, I believe. Don't come for me, okay? These people's names, all right? And names are hard sometimes, guys, okay? Jose Enrique Albana and Hesson Nelon Paracilla Flores, aka Eduardo Macias Ibarra. Okay, I think I did that. Okay, Henny Glasses in the chat or Henny Heads in the chat can shout out because we is live on YouTube and Twitch right now at the same damn time. Bloom. All right, so they will be in charge with conspiracy. Okay, conspiracy to commit. A conspiracy to interfere with commerce by robbery or interference with commerce by robbery. Theft from interstate or foreign shipment, criminal forfeiture, yada, 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 yada. So now let's get into the hot henny of it all, okay? Because beginning on no later than on or about March 2nd of 2022, remember that date, 2022, and continuing to at least on or about July 20th of 2022 in San Bernardino and Los Angeles counties within the Central District of California and elsewhere, defendants Carlos, I'm not going to read all of their names. I'm just going to say their first names. Carlos Hessel, Carlos, Hessel, Pablo, Victor, Jorge, George, Hesson, and Eduardo conspired with each other and others known and unknown to the grand jury to commit theft from interstate and foreign shipment in violation of Title 18 of the United States Code. The objection of the conspiracy was to be accomplished in the substance as followed. Okay, defendants Mastanza, Padilla, Logo, Valencia, Albin, Priscilla, and Macias, and others known and unknown to the grand jury would travel to a jewelry show and other locations, including traveling long distances to identify and rob, steal, unlawfully take, and unlawfully carry away goods and chattels from victims who were operating in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce. All right. We're just going to say the defendants for right now. The defendants and others known and unknown to the grand jury would use multiple vehicles to follow victims, truck drivers carrying interstate and foreign shipments of jewelry, Samsung and Apple electronics. Now pause right there because, baby, you notice how they didn't even mention anything about these electronics until we get into these court docs. Y'all share the video, lean on a like, okay? And be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Henny is back over here reading court docs again, okay? Anywho, let's go ahead and let's continue. Okay. And other merchandise to a stopping point, including truck stops where they could rob, steal, unlawfully take, and unlawfully carry away the merchandise from the victims. Some conspirators would act as lookouts in and around businesses that the victims' truck drivers were patronizing while their trucks were seemingly unattained. Meaning, if they stopped somewhere to get something to eat or use the restroom or something like that, they would then go in there and they would wiggle their way in. So, other conspirators would break into the seemingly unattended trucks and steal from their interstate and foreign shipments, including by force and threats of force in victims' presence. All right. The defendants and others known and unknown to the grand jury would return to Los Angeles County with stolen merchandise to divide up and fence for profit. Remember, this was happening in 2022, you guys. Now, in furtherance of the conspiracy and to accomplish its object, the defendants and others known and unknown to the grand jury on or about the date set forth below committed the following overt acts, among others, in the Central District of California and elsewhere. So the first overt act happened on March 2nd of 2022, where they stole Samsung electronics valued at $240,573. And this happened on March 2nd, 2022, just in case y'all didn't catch the date, okay? Defendants Mastanza, Logo, and Valencia and other conspirators using multiple vehicles, including defendant Padilla's vehicle, followed a truck carrying Samsung electronics from Ontario, California, Ontario, California, to be delivered to another transportation company for shipment out of California. Okay. When the truck driver stopped temporarily at a store in Ontario, defendants Mastaza, Lugo, and Valencia and other conspirators distracted the driver inside the store and stole Samsung electronics from the truck. Defendants Mastaza, Lugo, and Valencia and other conspirators fled with the stolen Samsung electronics, which the victim later valued at approximately $240,573. Defendant Padilla's residence in Los Angeles, California. They took it to his residence in Los Angeles, California, where defendant Padilla photographed the stolen electronics. Okay. Now, the second one happened on March 11th of 2022, where they stole Apple AirTags valued at $57,377. Okay. And the same people, Mastanza, Padilla, Valencia, and Albin, which is same crew, I meant to say, and other co-conspirators using multiple vehicles followed a box truck carrying Apple AirTags from China to be delivered to a warehouse in Fonta, California. When the box truck driver stopped temporarily for food in Fonta, defendants Mastanza, Padilla, Valencia, and Albin and other co-conspirators acted as lookouts in and around the restaurant and stole Apple AirTags from the box truck. When the box truck driver caught the co-conspirator stealing the Apple tags, a conspirator yelled at the truck driver, "Don't move or I will fuck you up," while holding a small knife in his hand. Defendant Mastaza, Padilla, Valencia, and Albin and other co-conspirators fled with the stolen Apple AirTags, which the victim later valued at the $57,000 amount. This is an attempted theft of a semi-truck that happened on May 25th of 2022, okay, where the defendants, Mastaza, Padilla, Lugo, Valencia, and Albin, and other co-conspirators using multiple vehicles drove to a truck stop in Fonta to steal from a semi-truck. At the Fonta truck stop, a co-conspirator used a crowbar to break into the semi-truck. Defendant Mastaza, Padilla, Lugo, Valencia, and Albin and other co-conspirators fled the Fonta truck stop. Okay. Now it says that they attempted, so I guess they did not get away with that. But on the same date, it says that they stole Samsung electronics from somewhere. So we're going to see where they stole it from. All right. So using multiple vehicles, they drove to Fonta to steal from a park. Okay, so this is the same truck. Parked semi waiting for a shipment of Samsung electronics traveling in interstate commerce to be unloaded. The defendants, because it's the same people, stole Samsung electronics from the semi truck. Okay. They then fled with the stolen Samsung electronics, which the victim later valued at approximately $14,081.54. Then on July 11th, defendant Padilla scouted an international jewelry show in San Mateo, California, while on the phone with a co-conspirator. July 9th, 2025. I'm sorry, that was on July 8th. July 9th, 2022, defendant Padilla and other co-conspirators scouted the international jewelry show to plan a robbery. On July 10th of 2022, defendant Padilla scouted the international jewelry show while on the phone with a co-conspirator, and defendants Lugo and Albin were on the phone with each other. On July 10th, Mustaza, Lugo, and Albin scout a Brinks semi-truck at the International Jewelry Show with 73 bags containing millions of dollars in jewelry that had traveled in interstate commerce. On July 10th, upon the Brinks semi-truck's departure, defendant Lugo called defendant Albin. Defendant Albin called defendant Padilla, and defendant Padilla called defendant Valencia. So they've got the phone records of who's calling who, and meanwhile this Brink truck is leaving. Okay. From the late hours of July 10th, 2022 to the early hours of July 12th, the defendants and other co-conspirators followed the Brink truck approximately 300 miles from the jewelry show in San Mateo to rest stops in Buttonwillow, California and Lebec, California. All right, July 11th, 2022, the defendants and co-conspirators stole 24 bags. Now, they said 43 in that news. Hold on. Because the guys said that they stole 43 bags in the newscast. But when we get over here, they saying only 24 bags. So who stole the other bags? They stole 24 bags of jewelry from the Brake semi truck. On July 11th, the defendants and co-conspirators traveled to East Hollywood with the stolen jewelry, which victims later valued at approximately $1 million. They done stole $1 million worth of diamonds. On July 14th, July 15th, and the 16th, respectively, defendants Mustaza, Priscilla, and Albin deactivated their cell phone numbers that they had been using to steal jewelry from the Brink semi truck. And on July 20th, defendant Lugo and Valencia also deactivated their cell phone numbers that they had been using to steal the jewelry from the Brink semi truck. So everybody done ditched their phones now. So beginning no later than on or about March 2nd of 2022 and continuing to at least on or about July 20th of 2022 in San Bernardino and Los Angeles counties within the Central District of California and elsewhere, the defendants, okay, and conspirators, known and unknown, conspired with each other, known and unknown to the grand jury, to knowingly, intentionally obstruct, delay, and affect commerce and the movement of articles and commodities and commence by robbery in violation of Title 18. Baby, the plot thickens though, okay? Because they did this in 2022. This indictment did not come down. This went before the grand jury on March of 2025. 3 years later. And June 11th of 2025 is when this was filed, okay? There's more though. you know there's always more with me, right? So, boom, what had happened was he had a pretrial supervision. So they did a little history of the court, right? So they said that on June 17th of 2025, the defendant made his initial appearance before the United. Now we're talking about Hassan Nelson, Priscilla Flores. This is Flores. This is the guy who we focusing on, okay? Now, he appeared, okay, before the courts about the conspiracy, right? And on August 5th of 2025, get this. A bond was set for $275,000. It was an appearance bond, and the bond was to be posted no later than August 19th of 2025. So he stole, allegedly, according to the court documents, he stole $1 million worth of jewelry, and he got a bond set at $275,000. The math ain't mathing to me. Cause what? Then on August 21st, 2025, a bond hearing was held, and the bond was set for $275,000, right? With different assigned securities. His next court date was supposed to be February 23rd of 2026, which would have been this year. And this was for him to be let go on bond and on release. However, he gets out on bond, and this is an ICE report. ICE came and picked up Flores. Yes, they did. They came and picked up Flores. Okay, the ICE records indicate that this subject is legally residing in the United States as a permanent resident and may live and work in the United States. If this person has been convicted for a felony offense, this person may be amendable to removal proceedings for violation of Immigration and Nationality Acts. This is what it says on here. So what does that mean, Henny? What does it all mean? It means that Flores, who had been here for about 25 years, okay, 25 years, I can't remember off the top of my head. He had a green card. And was here. But according to what the federal courts knew, Flores had been released out on bond, right? Right. They didn't even know that ICE had come to pick him up because ICE operates as its own agency. So they didn't even tell the federal courts that they had old boy in their custody, and they knew absolutely nothing about him being picked up and being held at all. Talk about a breakdown in in communication. Now, y'all know good and full well that this happens all the time. All the time. So now, boom, he's in ICE custody, okay? And while he's over there in ICE custody, this is his federal, okay, so here, this is the order from the judge, okay? So now on December 16th of 2025, while Flores is out on his bond and awaiting to go to trial in federal court for February of this year, he has his immigration hearing, okay? So now remember they said that he was eligible to be removed. Well, here's the paperwork because the judge signed off on it and said the immigration court found the respondent removable, okay? And when we get down here, the respondent was ordered removed to Chile. In the alternative, respondent was ordered removed from Ecuador. So he done got removed. And now the feds, they are pissed off, baby. Do you hear me? The feds are pissed. All right. But they are moving for a motion to dismiss. Now, let me explain why they're moving for a motion to dismiss. Because right now they can't continue a trial without a defendant. Because ICE done let this man go and get shipped back to Ecuador. They can't even try him unless they find him. And guess what? Ecuador does not have an extradition treaty with the United States. And even if the United States wanted to go in there and capture him, they have to get the cooperation of Ecuador. And guess what? Right now, with the state of the world, ain't nobody trying to cooperate with the states of the Uniteds, because they are not united, they are divided, honey. So now the courts are saying, his lawyers are like, we gonna move to dismiss. And so he wrote to the courts, and this is what they had to say. Okay, we already read about this. On or about July 30th of 2025, after extensive negotiation and preparation of a proposed package for the posting of both secured and unsecured bond, an agreement was reached with the government for defendant Flores' release on bail and presented to the courts at a scheduled bail release hearing on August 21st of 2025. The court set the requested bond. Defendant Flores, then, after securing the bond and submitting the necessary paperwork as approved by the government, posted bond and was finally ordered released by the courts under the Bail Reform Act. Now, pause and remember that, because I'm going to tell you right now, they're saying that this is a violation. Him being picked up by ICE and extradited out of the country was a violation of his Bail Reform Act rights. Okay? Now, after having been detained in custody several weeks, he was released on bail. All right. However, contrary to this court's order, immediately upon the defendant's compliance with this court's order setting bond, defendant Flores, a permanent lawful resident of the United States residing in the Central District of California for 25 years, it was 25 years, was not released on posted bond, but was transferred by the government to ICE. Okay, ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So that's ICE custody. In degradation of this court's order granting the defendant's release on bond, and contrary to the government's previously stated position on the defendant's release. Defendant Flores, as the case has since progressed, the defendant, okay, no, that's a case, no. Okay, he was deported to Ecuador on or about December 29th, 2025. Okay. The transfer of defendant Flores to ICE custody, particularly after the bail hearing and the posting of bail, frustrated and violated the Bail Reform Act and the order of the magistrate judge without government objection that defendant Flores be released. Nevertheless, despite the court's order, and with no argument from the government, defendant Flores was transferred to ICE custody almost immediately upon posting of bail, and has now in fact been deported. The Ninth Circuit has instructed that if the government, by placing a defendant in immigration detention or removing him, jeopardizes the district court's ability to try him, that the district court may craft an appropriate remedy. Okay, the continued immigration detention of defendant for purposes of his removal from the district and now his actual removal from the district have certainly jeopardized defendant's federal statutory rights as they relate to his criminal prosecution. So they have violated this man's rights all up and down. You are asking the right questions, baby. You are asking the right questions, honey. The government's actions have been in defiance of the court order for release and have been in total disregard of the government's pending indictment, have greatly impacted defendant Flores' ability to prepare for trial and present a defense, arguably denying him due process and his Sixth Amendment right. The government has now succeeded in at least one of its contradictory aims: defendant Flores' permanent removal from the United States. The government cannot now have it both ways. The criminal indictment should be dismissed with prejudice. This case is where it appears the executive branch chooses to forego criminal prosecution of defendant on a pending charge and deport him from the United States. Now, that was a dig at President Trump, because he would rather okay, have had this man deported from the country rather than have him stand trial for the charges that he was arrested for. See, the thing is, with most people, from what I know, and I could be wrong, but with most people, when they are brought up on criminal charges and they are facing deportation, they usually will serve their sentence in the United States, and upon their release, they will be exported, not exported. Export is what is it? Extradite? What is it? They gonna be kicked out and sent back to their country. I can't think of the word right now. Deported. Listen, leave me alone. Yes, extradited. Well, extradited, yeah, they'll be deported. It's deported. They get deported after they serve their time. But it looks like the way that ICE is processing everybody, they're sending him out prior to him serving his time. So now what happens to the jewelers who lost their $1 million? What happens to the Samsung people who lost their phones and the people with the Apple AirTags? Like, what happens to them? Because now the only way that they will ever get any compensation, or this case will ever be closed, will be only if he comes back to the United States. And baby, if you got away with splitting 24 bags of diamonds, you think he coming back? Do you know how much money that is? I don't know how much money that is, but I can only imagine 24 bags of jewelry divided between 7 people, baby. And guess what? I think it was like 4 of them that was never picked up. Hold on, because I got it. I really like just didn't set myself up properly to do the live. I just said, I'm live, so let me just go ahead and do it. Listen, charge it to me, okay? Wanting to just get this story out here because I've been sitting on it and I didn't get it out, okay? Hold on. That's the Tylil stuff. Okay, let's see if we could get into no, this is the Minnesota governors. I want to talk about this Minnesota stuff too. And I know that a lot of people are not going to want to. A lot of people are not going to want to talk about this, if I'm being honest with y'all. That's why the numbers are like extremely low on this. That's some more Pam Bondi stuff. Hold on, y'all. No, I don't want that either. Okay, so the deported suspect, which is Heson Nelson Priscilla Flores, he's one of 7 people who were charged, right? And so what's going to happen is the other suspects, right? He was deported to Ecuador. So the other suspects, according to reports, at least 4 of the 7 charged were still considered at large at the time the case gained renewed attention in mid-2025. Carlos Victor Mestaza Cursado was arrested in Panama in July of 2025. He and Giselle Padado Rosado was arrested in Arizona. Well, he was already in Arizona prison. All right. Now it says, let me see if I can get this to zoom in because I don't want y'all to see my whole screen. Okay, yeah, I could do it like this. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all see what I'm seeing. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Boom. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do this and this, and y'all should be able to see it. Okay, boom. All right, so now let's read this little bit right here. So it says, as of January 2026, authorities have not apprehended all suspects involved in the July 2022 $100 million Brink truck jewelry heist near Los Angeles. Now, I think I might have read that wrong in the court docs, and it may have said 100 million and not a million, but $100 million Brinks truck jewelry heist near Los Angeles. Do you know how much money $100 million is? While 7 men were charged in June of 2025, reports indicate that while several were arrested or in custody, multiple suspects remained at large or have not been fully processed. Here are the status of the suspects based on updates through late January of 2026, which we know Flores was deported. Okay, I read to y'all this. The other suspects, according to reports, at least 4 of the 7 charged were still considered at large at the time of the case. The case that gained some attention in 2025. And I told y'all this part here too. Carlos and Hassel, they were arrested. Now, the heist occurred at the rest stop in Lebec, California, where thieves stole 24 bags of gems and jewelry, while some stolen items were recovered. A large portion of the 100 million in jewelry is still missing. So now I'm wondering, because remember they said 24 bags, did they recover the other bags? Because 43 is a big jump. I mean, what is that? 18 bags are still missing. And we just saw the news report of the Brinks guy saying that it was 43 bags. But now we have court documents and now a report saying that it was only 24 bags. So where are the other bags? Was this an inside job? Was this an inside job? And then let me do this. Okay. So let's say, let's say that he walked away. Yeah, I know. I corrected myself. It's 100 million. Hold on. Let's say that he walked away with 25 million. Let's see what the conversion of that is. 25 million US dollars to Ecuador money. Why they do that? I was about to show y'all the screen and they gonna go ahead and give me an ad. I don't need no damn ad. So if this man had even $24 million, let me show y'all. $24 million would get this man $61,346,447 in Ecuadorian money. That's if he had 24 million. Let's see if he had 50 million. Baby, let me tell you this. If the heist happened in 2022 and y'all did not find out about it nor indict him until 2025, and y'all arrested them then, that's 3 years. Do you really think that money is not in an abuela's account somewhere? An auntie, a cousin, a child, an uncle? Baby, that money is gone with the wind. Do you hear me? And if it ain't gone with the wind, that man done sent some stuff home, done probably been home, buried some stuff in the sand somewhere. Okay. And him and his family is living very well. And the U.S. blundered this case. They did. They blundered this case. Ain't no way you gonna tell me that man walked away with nothing. Here's the kicker though. When he got to immigration court, they asked him if he wanted to be extradited. He said yes. So you know that money is not on U.S. soil. He said, yeah, go ahead, put me out the country. Kick me out. Tell me don't come back. Baby, he done got away with the bag. All at the hands of ICE and this administration that we under right now. Child, and don't get me started on this administration and all of that either. I'd be ready. Look, I'd be ready to go too if I got away with stealing $100 million. Anyway, child, this was supposed to be a recorded video, but y'all got y'all a little treat over here. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this video up. I might just redo the video. I don't know. I be saying that and then I don't. I be saying I am and I don't. Cause I be busy, y'all. I be busy. But what do y'all think about this? This is crazy work, right? This is some crazy work. Now, had this been somebody of another persuasion out here in this country, you know that it wouldn't be going down like that. But y'all, anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comment section below. And I'm going to say thank y'all for tapping in YouTube, because we about to go back over there to Twitcher for a little bit. But I love y'all. We out of here. Bye.